Hey yo, you know what it is? It's the almighty SOS Wrestling Network joining you back once again. Not for a review, not for a recap, man, but it's a special video. It's kind of a, I don't know. I kind of got like a wild hair on my ass. We're talking about multiple championship holders, multiple world championship holders in particular. So yeah, I'm like, you know what? I'm about to make a list of a couple that I know. This is not in any particular order. These are just 7 guys who I've known have held multiple world titles at the same time, and I kind of want to talk about them. So if this is your first time checking us out, make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Of course, the price of subscription is free $99, as we all know. So let's get into it. Although it's a rarity, occasionally a pro wrestler will have the distinction of holding more than one world championship at the same time. Whether these top titles are in the same company or across separate organizations, this feat has been accomplished by some of wrestling's finest, and included some of these guys I want to talk about now, 7 in particular. So the first guy I want to talk about here, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the Nature Boy. You know what I'm saying? Slick Rick himself. You know what his name is. His name is Ric Flair, man. So the first thing I want to talk about Ric Flair, when the delusion of the NWA happened, more specifically, Jim Crockett Promotions, WCW, that tends to be a complicated one, attempting to break away from JCP, WCW started creating new title belts with a world title needed. Here, the company decided to recognize the NWA world title belt as their own WCW World Championship title. Ric Flair defeated Sting at a house show in East Rutherford, New Jersey. I think it was in January. Flair now held the WCW and NWA World Championship belts, even though it was one belt here. So both titles, like I said, were both represented by the same belt. Flair would go to hold on to the belt for 69 days before losing the NWA title to Tatsumi Fujinami on March 21st, 1991. Flair would later be stripped of the WCW World Heavyweight Championship due to creative disagreements management, specifically with Jim Herd. We all know that story. You can go find various videos on YouTube talking about that, as he was refusing to wear a gladiator helmet, Roman attire, refusing to shave his hair, refusing to be called Spartacus. We all know about that, but he was actually co-holder. He held the NWA and the WCW World Heavyweight Championship at the same time. And speaking of the man he lost one of those titles to, we got Tatsumi Fujinami coming up next. He's a 2015 WWE Hall of Fame inductee. He's undoubtedly one of wrestling's most significant most pro wrestling is one of the most significant wrestlers from Japan. He's won the IWGP heavyweight title 6 times. He won 3 WWF International heavyweight titles. Multiple Wrestling Observer Awards for Best Technical Wrestler. He also was a double champion, having won the belt from the previous title holder, the Nature Boy, right here. So before defeating Ric Flair for the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship at the WCW and New Japan Pro Wrestling Super Show Part 1, he defeated Big Van Vader in his short stint as the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion and as a world champion on 3 continents. On March 4th, 1991, he kicked off his 4th reign as the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, which lasted over 300 days. A few weeks later, on March 21st, he unseated Ric Flair as the NWA World Heavyweight Champion in the main event of the aforementioned New Japan WCW Super Show cross-promotional event. So strangely enough, while Fujinami was recognized as a double title holder in Japan, it was reported in the United States that Flair defeated Fujinami by DQ after the Dragon threw Ric Flair over the top rope, thus when Naitch defeated the Japanese icon at the first Super Bowl was billed as a champion versus champion bout rather than the reality of Ric Flair winning back the NWA World's Heavyweight strap right here. With the master of the figure 4 dethroning the Dragon, he ended Fujinami's dual title reign at around 59 days right here. So speaking of New Japan, speaking of Japanese pro wrestling, speaking of New Japan in particular, we have the Great Muda coming up next. As well as being a huge star in Japan, Kaiji Muda was a massive star in NWA and /WCW, known as the Great Muda. For a 40-day stint in early 1993, Muda simultaneously held both the IWGP and the NWA World's titles right here. So on August 16, 1992, at the G1 Climax Special in Fukuoka, the Great Muda defeated Riki Choshu to win the IWGP Championship, GP Heavyweight Championship, and the Greatest 18 Club Championship. That's another championship we might have to get into in this channel. Neither here nor there. We'll talk about that later. A few months later into his IWGP reign, he defeated the then NWA World Heavyweight title holder Masahiro Chono, a fantastic story in Tokyo Dome in front of 63,500 fans to win the NWA World Heavyweight title and the match for both belts. However, this run with the National Wrestling Alliance top prize was really short-lived, though. In early 1993, we got Ric Flair returning back to WCW, almost guaranteeing that he had the strap back in little time. While stuck in a no-complete clause, Flair watched the former Four Horsemen stablemate Barry Windham win the belt off Great Muda, ending Muda's 48-day title run right here. Muda would go on to later lose the IWGP Heavyweight title at the G1 Climax next year, having held it for well over a year, during which he even had a huge cross-promotion bout with the legendary Hulk Hogan Ichiban. We can talk about that later as well. Also talking about Ric Flair, he dually held the WCW International Heavyweight title and the current WCW Heavyweight title at the time. He actually won that strap off of Sting in the was a title unification match back at Clash of the Champions. So Ric Flair held both of those belts, unified them. So yeah, that was more adding to the legacy of the Nature Boy Ric Flair right here. So moving on, we're going to talk about one of my favorite wrestlers, the Lariat Master himself, Satoshi Kojima. In January 2002, Satoshi Kojima, alongside mentor Kaiji Muto, left a long decade run at New Japan Pro Wrestling, resenting Chairman Antonio Inoki's new approach. If you want to go into that, of course, we all know it as Inokiism. In this, the leader of New Japan focused on more building around the IWGP Heavyweight title around shoot fighters rather than more reliable workers. So we might need to talk about that on the channel as well. This really paid off for Kojima, winning the company's Unified World Championship, as we all know it as the All Japan Pro Wrestling Triple Crown Heavyweight title from Toshiaki Kawada. This took place at the 2005 Realize Tour on February 16th. 4 days later, Satoshi Kojima won his first IWGP Heavyweight title by defeating his ex-tag team partner, Hiroshi Tenzan, by KO at the New Year's Gold Series. So this cross-promotional match, is for both belts, seeming increasingly likely to have a dusty finish, going 60 minutes or a time limit draw. But Kojima got the win with only seconds away from an hour, so that was actually very impressive. Later that year, on May 14th at Nexus 6, we got Satoshi Kojima dropping the title back to Tenzan, ended his dual title reign in around 84 days. Kojima, however, would go on to hold the Triple Crown for 502 days before totally dropping it. Teo Key having defended it 8 times. So Kojima did great things with both belts. More importantly, did great things with the All Japan Triple Crown Heavyweight title, which moves us on to our next wrestler we're going to talk about here. We all know WWE Resurrection, the ECW. Initially, it really kicked off with a bang. Following the success of 2005's One Night Stand, the show would reprise again in 2006. In this, we had Rob Van Dam announce beforehand he's going to cash in his Money in the Bank contract on John Cena in the Land of the Extreme in the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City, which is pretty much Rob Van Dam's spiritual home. Cena took the role of the heel, of course, as we all know if you've seen this match, even attacking the referee and being annihilated in the process due to his pure WWE identity, merciless hardcore crowd who shot obscenities at the current WWE champion right here. With the memorable sign that we had in the crowd, if Cena wins, we riot in the audience. The anti-Cena sentiment was so much that a loss from Mr. Monday Night would have probably led to violent chaos right here. But in the end, Edge interfered. He speared the leader of the C Nation through a table, preceded by a 5-star frog splash, a Paul Heyman 3 count, resulting in Rob Van Dam's hands being raised. 2 nights later on ECW TV, on-screen GM Paul Heyman awarded the 2021 Hall of Famer Rob Van Dam with the new ECW World Title belt. This seemingly sparked the beginning of a prolonged run for Rob Van Dam on top, but this will be short-lived, as we all know about Rob Van Dam's arrest that happened on July 1st, 2016. So he lost both the titles. And yeah, it was great to see him both the belts, but him just losing them, it was just like, it's unfortunate. But moving on to our next guy who held multiple world titles at the same time, we have Kurt Angle right here. He played an important role in New Japan Pro Wrestling in 2007, helping bridge the gap in relation between the promotion and Brock Lesnar. In October 2005, Brock Lesnar won the IWGP Heavyweight title. Soon later, contract negotiations broke down and Lesnar refused to return the belt that he had won. So, walking off with the actual physical title belt, Lesnar did agree to do the job for an athlete he respected due to work together in the U.S. Enter Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle would defeat Lesnar via submission in June 2007, not to win the IWGP Heavyweight title, but a temporary title replacement called the Inoki Genome Federation title belt, also referred to the IWGP third belt. It was an integral part stabilizing the IWGP belt as it was back within New Japan's control. Angle was also the TNA World Heavyweight Champion at this point, having beaten a star-stacked array of talents in the King of Mountain match at Slammiversary that year. This was the Olympic gold medalist's second recognized world title reign in the company, and it ended at Bound for Glory when he lost the strap to Sting, only to win it back 2 days later. That's for another story for another time. Holding both titles for 107 days, Angle would go on to have more TNA world title runs. He lost the IGF title in the early 2008 to Shinsuke Nakamura, who would bring the belt back to the original IWGP lineage, merging said 2 titles right here. So moving on down the line, of course, we were talking about Great Muda earlier. Great Muda, of course, I think it was April 27th of 2008, Muda defeated Shinsuke Nakamura to win the IWGP Heavyweight title. From this, that was a dream bout. That was his 4th reign in the IWGP Heavyweight title. That he defended the strap in All Japan. It was not long for Muda, would further his title resume, defeating Suwama 5 months later for the Triple Crown Heavyweight Championship under the Great Muda guys. He won the strap during a September Flashing Tour in 2008. Muda's winner also allowed him to become a double title holder, with his reign lasting a top of 98 days here. So after 4 defenses in 252-day run, Muto fell to Hiroshi Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom 3 in 2008. In March, he dropped the Triple Crown to Yoshihiro Takayama after 167 days. So Muto getting this double champ status on once again right here. And the final person we're going to talk about on this list is a guy who is pretty controversial right here. Call him Kenny Omega. So there's a little argument that in 2021, Kenny Omega was pretty much atop the pro wrestling world here, holding 3 of the most significant world titles. In October of 2019, Omega won the AAA Mega Championship by defeating Phoenix, thus making him the top champion in Mexico's AAA promotion. Already holding a world title elsewhere, Omega was crowned the AEW World Champion on December 2nd's Winter is Coming edition of AEW Dynamite in 2020. This is due to shocking interference from the owner of Impact Wrestling, Don Callis, who helped Kenny Omega by giving Omega a microphone to thwack and bust open the current champion, Jon Moxley. In the confusion as the duo ran away, the former Jackal Callis announced they would discuss the situation on the following Tuesday night on Impact Television. For the next few weeks, Omega gushed over his greatness to the much dismay of the Impact roster. In a 6-man tag bout at Hard to Kill that year, Omega pinned Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion Rich Swann. A unification bout was soon announced for both the AEW and Impact World title belts. That said match took place at Rebellion 2021 of Impact's pay-per-view, of course, and despite vast defiance from Rich Swann, Omega eventually hit a one-wing angle to put that dude away, man. The win meant that the master of the V-Trigger simultaneously had 3 world title belts. Virtually unheard of, the number of world title belts shows how significant Omega is in the world of pro wrestling today, whether you love him or hate him, man. So that was just me talking about some people who held multiple world titles at the same time, and I hope y'all enjoyed the video, man. You know who we are, the almighty SOS Wrestling Network. Be sure you like, share, subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend. Of course, this price of subscription, free 99, man. So I'm signing up out of here. I'll be back with more reviews, results, all that good stuff. Hope y'all liked the video. This is a different video. Hope y'all liked it. So I'ma holler at y'all later, man. Y'all know what we do, man. Y'all know how it is. Adios. Sayonara. Tranquilo.